cross there, and then you have to cross that.
Correct.
So it would be.
Well, Mike.
Yeah.
Just letting you know I'm pressing record.
Very be quiet.
Hey, Mike, when we get to, what do we call- is it on other item?
If I have that one, it's D1, is that what you're talking about?
Oh, the safety improvements, is that the Jefferson, is that even? Oh, no, I'm here to speak to that.
Oh.
Okay.
Not
that
What's up, man?
Yeah.
Great.
It's 2:00 and I'm calling the meeting to order.
Hit record, Mike. You did.
Okay, so, we're gonna go around the room and introduce ourselves. I am Marjorie Morgenstern, the chair, and I am on the city council.
I'm Kathleen Bunting, I'm the executive assistant to Glen Center Sheriffs of the school district.
Kevin Thompson, city manager.
Jackie Harrison, school board trustee.
Parker Chief, Derek Montana, Public Works Director.
Andres Marquez, council member and vice chair.
I'm Michelle Holden, I'm the principal at Jefferson Elementary School.
Andrew Galvin, Park and Street Superintendent.
And there's no guests to make public comments, so we will move on to the approval of minutes from August 19th, 2024. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Would anyone like to show something?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I'll post the motion. Business items, number 1, safety improvements in intersections.
I wanted to address, thank you for having me. I wanted to address the board today to, bring to the board's consideration a, crosswalk in the back on North Jefferson Boulevard in the back of Jefferson Elementary School. And we have had, parents on our school site council and, our teachers and staff, ask for a crosswalk there to open up access to Jefferson in a safe manner. And one of the biggest concerns is how do we support our littlest students in getting to and from school in a safe manner?
Okay, so Public Works orientated, crosswalk, so the specific spot they're talking about is, would be where the end of North Street goes onto Jefferson. And I do realize it's been a problematic crosswalk for a long time. If it was as easy as just painting 2 stripes in the ground, it would have already been done. Unfortunately, in my city role, not as a parent, in a city role, painting the crosswalk on the ground in that area, it has a few problems. One, if we don't apply the cut curves, it doesn't meet with it violates Title II of the ADA code. I checked 35.151. And it also is in direct violation of the 2018 ADA compliance handbook. All of it enforced by the state and currently enforced by DOJ. So Mike, if you zoom in where daily feed, so. Go north a little bit. Okay, now do a 180. Oh boy, go south. A little bit more south. A little more, there you go, okay, so.
Right there.
Yeah, so you see where this picture is, there's a car in that picture. So the crosswalk would have to go at a 15-degree angle about from that car and land about 20 feet north of the driveway. On the west side or the east side of Jefferson, right? Yeah, right in there. So because of AB 413, we have to provide 20 feet of no parking on either side of these crosswalks. So unfortunately, if you go south again, Mike, and then turn to your right a little bit. So that section on the left-hand side, which would be the west side, between those the house there and that big tree, that whole section would become all red curb in its entirety. So unfortunately, we've taken parking spots away. In front of homes and for the school drop off and pickup, and then we would have. With a 12-foot wide, you know, it would be, you know, 52 feet at least of red curb, including the crosswalk on the Jefferson School side of Jefferson Street. And that would be on the north side of their, that North Street. So from the red curb on the north end would be about 52 feet of all red curb that way. And then we would have to cut that out, but a cut curb and ADA style ramp, and so they get quite large. When you start building these things, and quite costly. So this is for so the council can see, this would be the area where that would be the curb. And I did see, so you see for the chief, that would be the area. So as a parent, I do understand how they want this crosswalk there. Some worries that I have is a crosswalk gives people, you know, a false sense of safety when they're crossing the street, especially in an area like that. I know visibility is a big thing. There's a lot of construction now on the front side of the school, which in result is all the people parking on the back. I think moving to this, I don't know how the council, even in the city legal department, would feel about doing the crosswalk and then staging into the cut curves, putting that into a plan, but generally you don't see a crosswalk go in prior to the ADA ramps. That's just leaves us open for litigation. I think with that being said, we should, like I said earlier, we should try to figure out, you know, mitigate the foot traffic that is coming from the west side of Jefferson. Whether that be, you know, provide some extra parking or a different routing or something, to try to mitigate that until we can get the actual long-term fix put into here. So that's, I mean, that's a lot of words for this. It's not a no. It's not, you know, at the end of the day, it's not up to me. But I think we should definitely, I would like council direction on whether you want to go ahead with the full design of this. And that's something that we're definitely capable of moving forward with. I just don't see it getting finished probably this calendar year, right? And so mitigation purposes, and I do think that other mitigations should go in. I like to see maybe probably like so they call them bot stops pads. They used to have them coming down the boulevard. It's a big pad of those white dots, they're like rumble strips. They really slow people down because they're, you know, they're abrasive to the vehicle and they're noisy. You know, putting some of those down, that's something we could easily do. I know that nobody likes speed bumps.
Gonna say speed bumps, or just having, what about like?
I'm okay with it.
right-hand turn
They
Come out of North Street.
that we can do that all. I mean, we can make it turn one way only. We can put a one way only sign on, you know, only left turns, only right turns. I'm not sure if that's gonna help. The foot traffic.
And I agree with everything that you have said, and I appreciate just the idea of looking at it in a broader perspective too, and looking at the broader solutions. I do know that, in addition to the, parents' desire to have a crosswalk, the speed is definitely a consideration too. So, yeah, and I just appreciate the council taking a look and seeing if there's anything that we can do to resolve.
They do sell like a kind of a hard rubber speed bumps. Not as violent as the one for the installed on Citrus Fair. They're more of a speed hump. They're
Yeah,
always,
yeah, those were.
and they're made out of a gel inside, so the faster you hit them, the harder they are. So if you hit them at the normal traffic speed, they're fine. And they are a temporary thing, they're removable, they're a recessed pin to the ground. So that's something we could look at employing, because when when the construction's done, you know, and, this is kind of alleviated and the long-term fix is employed, we would look to pull those out of it, right? I think maybe that coupled with possibly looking at some flashing signs or something like that.
Signs.
Not signs that are, denoting a crosswalk, but, you know, children at play, those that are flashing, you know. They can be solar and they can just flash during school hours. So that's all. I mean, that's a lot of ideas, a lot of things. I don't know if council wants to, I'm looking for direction on, do you want me to bring it, or do you want to give us direction to put in temporary amenities to try to mitigate this?
I think we should bring it to the whole council, but I have a question. Is there any sort of safety patrol that can help people across the street?
They have lots of teachers and staff out every morning. I've seen 5 to 6 of them out there every morning at every crosswalk. You know, vests, stop signs. So they're doing a very good job of traffic mitigation. But at a certain point, they gotta adjourn that and go back into the school and do that. But the traffic hazard still exists, right?
For sure. And then I have another question. Would the school be willing to pay for part of this? Or if we put in the crosswalk, would it all be on the city?
It would most likely all be on the city. I can't speak to the school's finances. If they're interested, that's something they can reach out to us, but I think first just streets and public right of way improvements, that would be on us.
Well, I think we should bring it to the whole council.
Okay,
And then that way parents can come in and make public comment.
so you want the permanent sidewalk fix and all that, design and all that to go to the full council and to see if we can do a temporary something to slow the
Well,
heart.
just the discussion to see if the council wants to do something temporary, if they, instead wanna, do a full crosswalk at some point, or, that way parents can come in and they can say what their needs are. And, I just think it would be good to let the parents know.
We could spend money on paper, but we could hire W-Trans to look at the area and give us
We could,
the best suggestions. Normally, it sounds ridiculous, but you should have an engineer's report, even for kind of smaller things, just to make sure you're doing it correctly and it's justified.
Yep.
well, I think for the temporary, I will say this, for temporary, I think as long as we're in alignment with
Temporary
the
fine.
handbook, as long as we're aligned with Caltrans city standards, I think we're fine. But for sure, for a permanent solution, we will have to go, do it, possibly a traffic study, we'd have to have some draw plans.
I think a temporary solution is good for sounds like it's a kind of a temporary issue in construction. And that is traffic enforcement. There's a history of enforcement, because I guess I've been hearing there might be kind of a handful of violators. Speed, that's kind of the,
See,
yeah,
we can't do radar on that street. It was not, surveyed the residential area, so we do put our radar trailer out there. The only other concern that if you put the bot dots or the speed bump out there, it's gonna create noise for those residents.
Yep.
and because there's no stop sign, people can kind of just blow through there.
What about surveying the residents to see like, hey, this would help with the speed in your area, however, if there's a
Yep.
there's pro and a con, we'd like your input on it.
That's whenever we're gonna do a project, we would really want, because that was the big thing is. When residents start seeing red curves in front of their houses, they don't get too happy. So, yeah, we'll have to do some outreach, I think that's something that we can do this, the school, we'd be more than happy to. Have the school, send them a letter or knock on their door and explain to them,
We did that with the pre-construction. Yeah, we talked to all the neighbors.
Yeah.
And I would say too, like, yes, you'll get complaints, but just let them know it's temporary if it is the speed bumps.
Okay, so council direction, you guys wanna bring the main project. Back to council to see,
Correct, and that way the parents can come make public comment.
If we could get a scope from W-Trans, just to include as a Cause they can look at the permanent solutions and they can go out to the area and give us suggestions on.
I agree with that. I
So,
think that.
so permanent, and then we'll survey or work with the school to see if we can figure out if anyone wants. And then we can extend the red curbs more if it helps with the pulling out and, you know, I don't know how much farther we can go, if we have 20 feet now. On either side.
Kind of a few more feet in some other areas, Washington School.
If it was down to that, down to Champlain, I think that would help with the visibility, just because I was out there this morning. Doing
Well, I
the crosswalk, but
I don't know if anyone's supposed to be parking in the section between North Street and Champlain.
well, there's that one section that is, that part right there is red zone. But then they have that
Yeah,
little driveway there.
that's a driveway, you're not
No,
supposed to park
But
there.
no, right here down to Champlain, there's another little section, if.
Oh, yeah, well,
There, they
we
can,
can easily read
if
that.
that's red zone, I think the visibility coming out of North Street is gonna be much better.
Yeah, there's a crosswalk right there, isn't there?
Mhm.
Across North Street, so that we need to red curb that 20 feet on either side
You mean-
anyways.
Across Champlain,
Champlain,
So,
the
right
Jefferson.
here,
yeah,
right across here.
Yeah. Champlain,
So yeah, we should red curb that corner, we'll go over it, we need to do it anyways, because the AB 430.
and that'll help with visibility big time.
You just striped that crosswalk, the one you were mentioning there.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago.
So next steps.
Yeah, so there should be 20 feet of red curb on either side, so it should go to the driveways. So we'll go over it.
So that crosswalk right there in the STOP was just restriped.
Yep.
About a week ago.
We could probably, do we have a school zone in the back?
Should be approaching side. That's what you need. So pushing the stop sign,
Mm.
that needs to be,
On Champlain.
yeah, so that has to be 21 feet from there.
Yeah. Those gotta be red.
And the one there, it is red right there on the right.
That's because of the
Yeah,
fire.
yeah, the other side has to be red. We'll
I
go
think it
over
was red on the other side too,
Right.
but down the.
Alright, so I'm gonna get a scope for a permanent fix from W-Tran, including crosswalk.
And maybe describe your temporary ones. You buy in and.
ADA ramp, and then describe temporary.
Didn't they do a crosswalk thing?
And then you want that on the September council meeting?
Sure,
Yeah.
probably the sooner the better for the school.
Corridor Boulevard.
This as soon as they do it. 'cause
I think it's leaving back in it.
No, that's
That's
good.
good, and that'll give us time to report back to our parents.
Yeah, yeah, and give them a chance to have the comment.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
Okay, so moving right along, we're on number
Real quick,
2.
Chair. That item's actually a twofold item. Hector has a report as well.
Oh,
What?
okay.
my goodness.
You got 5 minutes.
Oh, sorry. Now, so just to touch on, since I figured this would be a good opportunity for me to bring up all the work that we've been implementing over the summer on safety improvements. So roughly around the end of April there, early May, we started this project. It's like a safe to school route project where the streets department came in and striped all the major crosswalks around schools. We're mainly focusing on Jefferson School, Washington School, and the high school. Like I mentioned there earlier, we did a total of almost 400 gallons of paint that we striped down, and we striped most of the crosswalks, their STOP markings, stop signs on the ground there, school crossings. We also spent a significant amount of time and funding to address the flashing yellow lights on the boulevard. We were having an issue with those lights, so we went ahead and repaired those. I did get we also ordered some LEDs for those lights that they came in today, so we're hoping to deploy those next week. But those are all these improvements that we've been doing. It was 1 intent and 1 intent only, just to keep our kids
Safe.
safe from home to school. And all of this helps out with all the items that we're talking about right now. Traffic control. It's talking to you about traffic control, the crosswalk folks that are out there every morning, getting folks across. Now there's a crosswalk, now there's a school crossing that they can see. We're gonna continue, we wanted to target, because I know we have a deadline, because we wanted to get everything done before the school started. So we got all the major stuff done, but right now, even this week, we did a few more STOPs. We're replacing signage so they're more visible. This effort is gonna keep going throughout the summer. It is gonna continue into the next spring.
Right.
So that's what we're doing from our part for the city to keep, as a parent myself, it's a.
For sure.
And so we're not just doing that just for the kids, but this benefits everybody.
Well, thank you. It's really important safety.
Yeah, so then we did downtown, businesses and for the shop, so. That was, I just wanted to give a little small report of what we've been doing on the streets out there.
Thank you for the report. Number 2, career fair update.
So this was an idea that coincides with economic development and with youth retention in our city. And just sharing that what we're presenting to the Chamber of Commerce at their board meeting in September. And kind of would build the career fair out of the chamber. What the school would be, hosting, and I think we'll be sharing some ideas. I think it's another option, and maybe even the teachers can help out with resume building. And I think the city would already be on board with sharing some of their career opportunities as well. So, doing the outreach to other businesses would be through the chamber.
See the great, I don't know, right behind you, so.
And a lot of this is in the conceptual stage at this point.
Do you have a, so do you have a location, do you think?
Really, everything's sort of open, so I guess it, probably be conducive to have it at one of the gyms. Maybe Washington gym, because of the air conditioning. Would be a good location, potentially there's gonna be a lot of businesses that would participate.
So have you talked to the superintendent about this?
Yeah.
And has he given you input?
Yeah, he's spoken with Nina, so where we would cook it at would be through the chamber next month. See who wants to participate. This would sort of be kind of people volunteering that are on the chamber board and just building it from there. And really, it's, right now everything's at the conceptual stage, so I've just kind of been throwing ideas around to a lot of folks and trying to get some input on how do we do this? How do we do it the best way we can?
And the superintendent's positive about this.
I really haven't gotten too much. I've reached out to him over the last few months. He did reach out to Nina directly, and I've been reaching out to Nina for many months. So this is something that has been in a conceptual stage and really trying to dig in, get some information, see who wants to participate, and really that's it. It's definitely not something I can do by myself. So it's just finding some willing participants and folks that kind of want to sort of see the value in this as far as our town, for our youth, and
I think I have a question.
Yeah.
So has the superintendent given you a green light to go ahead and do this? Do you know?
The superintendent did reach out to Nina, and I spoke with Nina. So we have a direction as far as how we're gonna
Oh, okay.
to build it, and that's gonna be speaking to the chamber board. I've really gotten this idea from chamber board members. So I know that there's gonna be a couple of people that are definitely interested in working on it, and I think once we go from there, then we bring it back to Glenn.
Okay, great. So would anyone else like to comment about the career fair?
Well, I think we'll show up, be police, and I'm thinking Darren, the water plant, and they, a lot of kids don't even know those jobs exist, and.
I hope the school did something like this before.
We haven't had a
When we
career fair in a
haven't
long
had a
time.
counselor in a while too, like consistently, we used to do the at lunches, they would have different like jobs.
People coming in,
People in, and they would come and do like a presentation,
Yeah.
so like. It's like health and medical field or fire safety, police department, like, or computer and technology type of things, or a veterinarian, or ag with winemakers and vineyard management. They used to do that kind of stuff, but you would just sign up and go to that. A career fair sounds a little bit different than that because
I remember it's on a very large one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that all schools are invited to.
I remember doing the booth there.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago. I can't remember what, I mean, it was quite a while
It's
ago.
like 12 years ago. I went to one of that been there 17, and it was like 12 years ago.
It's been quite a while. I just know that.
Good to bring it back.
Number 3, youth perspective panel.
And this was another idea sort of sharing with everyone, just wanted to keep the communication lines open. So the Youth Perspective is an event that's thrown by a nonprofit in the county, Lucian. They presented last year in Healdsburg and currently been working with them, trying to get their blueprint on sort of how this is put together. And the idea behind this is really, giving the youth a voice. The community can ask questions and submit, but the panel's really put together completely by the youth. And this was kind of spurred upon what I think about, like the skate park idea. It's like I don't really see many kids skating in town, so it's a lot of adults sort of giving ideas to the kids on what they should do. So I want to give a voice to the youth. Right now, the thoughts are that CN could possibly host their normal yearly youth perspective would be at Citrus Fair. This wouldn't be anything that, anyone would need to do any work on, but it would just really bring some attention to Cloverdale. And then maybe possibly the following year, the idea is that, maybe the city can host an event where, we throw something in like CPAC or something. That there would be a panel of youth that would sort of organize, like having a couple students from the high school, maybe JEH, and maybe even a couple kids that don't go to school here in town. Just sort of giving their thoughts on the, questions that they have, questions that the community has. So that's sort of just wanted to give you an update on what's happening with that.
You're thinking spring for that, right?
Yeah, they do it in March.
Okay.
So, I think this year right now they're gonna be presenting to the board, but, I've gone ahead and sort of would sponsor, the venue being at Citrus Fair for them to come up here as, elected leaders, health organizations, and at least that would, give a little attention to Cloverdale and an opportunity for a lot of other folks to come up here and sort of see what the needs are here.
It's called Los Cien.
Lucian is the organization, yes, Sonoma County. And their event is called the Youth Perspective.
So, in terms of the school, we just need them to promote it?
Yeah, just kind of promote it and maybe get the word out and see if there's participants. They've always done high school students. I think this year they're thinking about pivoting into college age or just out of college age youth.
Number 4, student liaison program review, and I feel like we did this at the city council meeting already.
Well, this particular item is selecting the applicants.
Oh, I thought that was number 5, student.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind, sorry, you're right.
Yeah, this one was just to inform the rest of the board that we increased the scholarship fund to $1,000. Previously it was $750. So just so you board members and representatives of the CUSD know that the scholarship has gone up. The next item, we'll talk a little bit more about the selection process, but yeah, if there's anything else, it's just kind of a chance for you to give us information or discuss if there's anything about the program that you're interested in seeing or changing. And I'll put up on our screen really quick what the program currently looks like. As you can see, it's an effort to increase youth participation in our local government, and it's the two, like last year, for example, we had Yana and Keiko, and the two of them were able to represent the school district, not just the high school, but the elementary and middle school as well. Eligibility requirements, they get a scholarship if they complete the program, which both did. Yeah, it's kind of an opportunity for you to discuss if there's anything you want to look at the program and change, or if you're happy with it, how it is.
With them sharing, do they each get $1,000 or a $750 scholarship or?
This one, they each get it.
One thing I want to change is we need to keep track of attendance, because it seems like last year they had so many different sports events that they didn't show up that much. And I think part of getting the scholarship is showing up. So somehow we need to keep track of attendance and maybe make some rules around attendance or something.
They do provide a written report. Often if they can't attend, will they provide a written report to,
Sometimes they do.
Yeah, just something.
We don't ask them to do it necessarily, so.
Maybe from now on, we should ask
If
them.
you can't make it, then provide a written report.
Yeah, and to tell, somebody at the city ahead of time if they can't make it.
Yeah, they generally do. I mean, we could do something like 2 excused absences or just something like that. Mike, what do you think? About the,
Yeah, I remember reading somewhere, I don't know if it's on our application form or not, but it does say that they're excused if they have a school, as you can see, we don't know if you can see the screen, but we gotta adjust this application as well, so it says 750, but, it says that they're allowed to miss meetings for school activities like sports programs and things like that, but we can definitely change it. It's up to you. I just know, yeah, we don't wanna force kids to, if they're student athletes, to not participate, but I agree with Chair Morgenstern. We do wanna have $1,000, 2,000 total is a lot of money for, if they're not showing up on a regular basis.
Or if they're not reporting out,
Yeah.
one thing not to show up, but if they can't show up, then they need to still do a report in the mayor, or somebody can read the report out loud. But they need to really participate,
maybe they
hopefully.
could show up for a planning commission.
Well, and there's also thoughts on if this meeting, if we have more of them. I mean, obviously they're in school, so it's not easy for them to attend, but if they can get an excused absence or something, we talked about that at one point, so they can actually get introduced to folks like Glenn and the board members and just kind of see how the two entities cooperate together. That was something we discussed a year or so ago. We used to have I deleted it from our website, but we had a conference at the end of the year. That hasn't happened in the last 3 years, so there could be something at the end. I know I've spoken with Councilmember Marquez. There's been some debate about maybe they could participate in more of a student-led, kind of like a mock city council where they're the mayor or, chair of the board, things like that, because they are in this role. There's a lot of options that could happen, but it's really up to the board.
Mike, does this go till the end of the year and then we try to get, so it's maybe.
Yeah, you're gonna select in the next item, you'll select the student liaisons for the 25-26 year. And then when school's out, their term is up and we'll select new ones.
maybe add a requirement that, if they can't attend in person, that they provide a written.
I think that's, yeah, that's
Very reasonable.
Yeah. But for this one right now, maybe we just tell them that and then we change the rules.
Yeah, exactly, that sounds good.
So we have the two applicants, we can pass it. I mean, one thing we were kind of hoping there'd be more applicants. I don't know, we were always like beating the bushes to get. I think this is really great for college applications.
Oh, I think so
To
too.
get student reps as well, so.
We got 2 and there's 2 spots.
Well, I think it's good practice just for going out in the world, and being able to speak.
I know.
And getting more self-confidence before you go off to college.
Yeah, okay.
And future.
Those things, yeah. That on your resume for college app.
It seems to be a very popular thing.
Everybody's to know about that. open
What's the window for applying, like the dates?
So we opened up right when the end of the year. So they had from the end of the school year, sorry. So they basically had all of summer until yesterday to apply.
And does the school put the information out? Do you
Yeah.
forward that information? to
I had a
schools?
booth at the orientation day,
Oh,
handed it out.
Okay, because they didn't put it out even on Parent Square at the end of the school year,
Yeah, we do.
or during the summertime even.
ASB, the student body, they had, hands in packet.
Not
E plus had,
Yeah.
I think, I mean, just a suggestion or something, if I was aware of that at my school, we find that repetitive information via parent squares helpful. So, and even, math, so the kids, hey,
It's
here's
our
your
student,
opportunity.
Because they're high school, they,
Yeah, exactly, and so that, being able to.
And it was, they were in the office and where all the.
The parents don't know about it, so if we don't send the information out to the parents, some students aren't gonna tell their parents, but their parents might encourage them to do it,
Do you allow
Or-
JEH students to participate or just the HF students?
Exactly.
It's high school.
So see, I'm just curious.
And I'm
if
sure
JEH
AH doesn't know about it at all.
Yeah, JH, that would be something, cause it would be a good opportunity for
I
them.
think one of the requirements, and I don't know much about JDH, but it's a 2.0 GPA, and that's a secondary school, right?
That's a continuation high school, but
Continuation.
they have to keep their GPA up because they're doing their.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, because all of our requirements right now are just 11th grade and a 2.0. Doesn't say that it has to be Cloverdale High. But we have not advertised to JDH to my knowledge. Either entity.
I think that if that's, everyone agrees with that, I think that would be a good thing to allow them to participate because, it was more inclusive.
What was that? I missed that.
This is for the next cycle, though, next.
Yeah, for the next cycle, to include JEH,
I'm sure you know, everyone knows.
it's our secondary or continuation school for kids, who are credit deficient and helps get them on track. We also, it's a big picture learning program. So 2 days out of the week, students will go to an internship. And a lot of them end up getting paid jobs through that and will graduate with a job, or they end up going to college after when that was not something in their future.
Success stories are amazing.
Yeah, and they've presented at the school board meetings, and I'm sure, Ms. Lawson, if you asked her, she would come and present at the city council meetings too. And the students themselves came and presented, and yeah,
That'd be
it's
great.
really.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Is there any correlation with the student council that communicates with the liaison, or I was just kind of thinking that maybe, a couple members from the city council might speak to the student council or vice versa, just sort of to kind of.
I think going out to all students and to parents is gonna be the best bet, because the student council isn't gonna get to the parents. And the parents knowing about it is gonna be, I think, key.
About
If
the
the parent,
I think this was
Yeah.
generally just, not necessarily about the liaison program, but just in general to expose some of the student council to the city council, just so that might be a pathway to leadership for them, the students who are already kind of interested in participating in those types of things.
And if you were on student council and that would be.
That's a lot.
right, and we have a board representative as well, so I don't know,
I'm not
honestly.
necessarily saying crossover, have kids do two things, it's just, what I mean is, sort of just exposing them to, when we come to an actual meeting or present what they're doing, to the city council, just give them a little exposure that, you're on a student council, but here's like a little field trip for them where they can present to the city council and just kind of be exposed to what, some of the city does, and that might give somebody an interest to go into these things in the future.
Yeah, that might be a question for the,
For, the staff that is in charge of it.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So moving on to 5.
Well, so we're all okay with the two applicants? Did you guys?
Oh, well, 5 is student liaison
Oh.
selection.
Yeah, so we did receive. With the student liaison selection, we received 2 applications within the frame that it was open, closed yesterday, and those are the only 2. As you see, they're stamped confidential. We don't include them in the packet just because they're under 18 and it has information about them and their family and whatnot, but it does have a letter of recommendation on the back page. And then they were required to fill out supplemental questions. So I've put both the applications out here for your review. You're welcome to take a second to look at them. But again, we only have 2 applicants and only 2 openings. Potentially an easy decision for the board today.
Yes.
They both seem very interested, which enthusiasm is important.
Yeah, patients look good.
Chief and no.
And your restaurant.
Chief doesn't recognize the name, so.
Maybe, no.
Great. So with this one, we do want a motion in a second, just to officially select them from the board, and then I'll go ahead and move forward with doing their onboarding to the liaison position for the next scholarships. They probably will not start until September.
Who would like to make a motion?
Like to make a motion to approve our 2 applicants for student liaison.
And I second that motion. So moving on to 6, Times Square property, Washington Street extension.
Yeah, so this one's been on here a long time. As everyone's aware, Alexander Valley does look like they're actually moving forward. They got approval by the planning commission. They still have to go to the city council. Part of that project is to extend Washington from Healdsburg to Citrus Fair. And I know you guys have already done some work out there for the new bus turnout. Right now, we're just kind of working with Alexander Valley to do the final design, and we're gonna do a little bit of a cost share on that, and that will be before the council probably in the next month or so. So just kind of an update. I mean, it really feels like it's happening this time, and they want to start construction either late this year or early next year. Part of their construction, again, is the obligation to complete Washington Street. So I think it's gonna be great for the school, in terms of circulation. And so, I mean, the good news here is it's moving forward and the city is participating. And thank you guys for putting your turnout in and doing the curb. That helps. So that's kind of it on that, unless there's any questions.
Any questions? Moving on to 7, planning and development projects.
Yeah, this one is also from before, and we could take these off for next meeting or keep them on. This is really just to give you guys an update on any of the new development projects that are coming in, so you can get ready for more students and look for your fees and make sure everything's paid up. We really don't have anything new. There isn't any new applications. Probably the big one is the Esmeralda, which is the resort project, which is kind of full steam ahead really at this point. They want to be approved by spring. It's gonna be a lot of work, but it's gonna be some money for you guys. There's gonna be some school fees there. So it's gonna be a significant amount of money, and yeah, that's between you and them. They can pay you. So that's probably the biggest one we have. We still have the other ones that are underway. I don't know if those fees have been deferred. They defer on the affordable housing until they're done building, which is totally fine. Baumgartner is up and running again. That was the one on the south end. So they kind of stalled out for a while, but now they're working on it again. Austin Road Apartments is kind of full speed ahead. And then the one kind of across from Ace Hardware, that's about 25. Those are market rate apartments, so they're not affordable. They're just, whatever they can get. And so that one's obviously moving ahead pretty quickly, but we haven't received any new applications. So I think the whole point of this item was to keep you guys apprised of what's happening, so you didn't get blindsided by some huge project. So that's really the point of it, and obviously you're gonna know about it because they have to come find you and pay their school fees. So, so that's it on that one.
Number 8, school resource officer update.
We don't have one.
Okay.
No update or no update?
So we have an officer starting tomorrow. Well, so I'll back up. We had 3 vacant positions. We had an officer starting tomorrow, filling one of those. We hired 2 who are right now in the 5th or 6th week of the academy. They will graduate December 8th-ish. And in November, the gentleman who we just hired starting tomorrow will get off field training. And then the officers coming out of the academy are expected to complete field training in April, May-ish.
Next year.
So, yeah, so May-ish is when we're looking at, once we get that 10th officer on the street, one of those guys will be going into SRO. We do have one guy doing the SAR meetings, and this thing of stuff that Glenn has requested it for us to do, like helping out the first day of school and graduation and all that, we do all that stuff. Where we're at. So I'm looking at May next year. Ish.
A year from now.
Yeah, next school year. Maybe a couple weeks this year.
Hopefully. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, it would be nice, but.
Yeah.
Number 9, Joint City CUSD Subcommittee Review.
Thank you, Chair. So yeah, I just wanted to introduce this item. This is our last meeting scheduled for the year. The prior one was March 18th was canceled. As you saw by our last minutes, today is the anniversary of our last meeting. So we had it about a year ago. So I just wanted to have this opportunity for the subcommittee to discuss recommendations for this subcommittee for when council's setting their meeting dates next year. If it's a subcommittee they want to have more frequently, less frequently, meaning more of an as needed basis, or eliminate altogether. So those are kind of the three options, but if you wanted to discuss and see if it's just an advantageous point to see how you want to have this meeting look in 2026.
I think we originally wanted to have one at the beginning of the school year, Mike, wasn't it? And then maybe kind of near the end, but I think Glenn couldn't make the last one or something, if it got canceled for some reason.
Yeah, I think the last one was attendance and lack of items.
So that was the beginning of the school year and end of school year.
And as needed.
And then, yeah, we can always do it as needed.
I like the as needed because if the school has something, the schools that they want to discuss with the city, I'm more than willing to have a meeting.
Yeah.
So just let us know.
So for the direction to council, are you still wanting to have before school starts and after, or near the end, or just as needed?
So it's really, do we kind of agree on 2 meetings, and then it's more of like just kind of picking out when they would be? Certainly, I think, meeting right now, beginning of the school year is great, and then, is it towards the end of the next school year? Do you want it to be after the school year, just to have keep them 6 months apart, or how does that work?
I'd like to hear from people that actually work in the schools. What do you guys think?
Jackie, what do you think? Because Glenn's the one that normally is here, so I think if there was two a year and as needed, or 1 a year and as needed, I think would be fine, but.
I think if we schedule them for 2 a year, beginning and end of the school year and as needed, and then if we have to cancel like we did, that's fine.
And then I have another question. Is 2 o'clock a good time for you, or would you prefer 5? What time works?
2 is fine for.
Okay, good. Great.
I don't know.
So any other comments on this
So
subject?
2, Mike, we'll just keep the,
2 a year and as needed, and at 2 o'clock.
I'm not as familiar with the school year quite yet. Mine's not that old. So August is a good time. That's when school's starting now. And when would the next one be if you wanted it to kind of tail end or bookend the 2?
April, I think that's the question for you guys.
The only thing I would just, and in thinking in my position, if there's anything to report back at an admin meeting or to our schools or to our parents, it'd be helpful if it was before school was out, but anytime.
So that's kind of where April falls into that.
When is school out?
June.
The beginning of June.
Yeah, first week in June.
How about May? Would May work? Maybe the start of May?
Yeah, if it's in the beginning, because that's a.
The end of May.
And May is the craziest month of the year, so actually April will probably be better. It's 100 days of May.
The end of April then.
late April,
Yeah.
late April, Mike.
Okay, yeah, we usually have it on the 3rd Tuesday, so it'd be late April. Sounds good.
Okay, so moving along to future agenda items. Does anyone have an item they would like on the next agenda? No?
We should let these guys know when we're gonna bring that to the council, the safety stuff.
Yes, please.
Mike, do we still have time?
We do have to get the report done.
Well, they can discuss it at council to see if we want to do temporary solutions. In the
Well, I'll leave it
meantime.
up to you, but we have to have it done by.
Can you put agenda item still on the meeting on the 27th, 6th?
Yeah, if it's just a discussion item and if you have any attachments, but I need a staff report. So if you can give me a staff report by Thursday.
I'll get you one
So there's gonna be,
And so it'll be a discussion,
27th, right?
Of
Yeah.
August?
Yeah.
it'll be a discussion item, so they could tell us that if they want to do any temporary.
I don't know if you're gonna be able to get scope by then. But you can get direction to get a scope or
Yeah.
something.
Is that when parents would
Parents
have
can
to
come,
put then
Yeah.
on August 27th?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't give quite a lot of time to inform the parents though. It's next week,
The other option would be, what's the next one after that one?
the September 10th or September 24th.
You can do September 10th if you want more.
That would give us more time.
Okay,
to
then
communicate.
September 10th,
Yeah.
we'll put on.
And we'd be running it by council to figure out if we want to even give a scope for.
Well, we might have a
Still
scope.
be temporary, but.
What time?
It's always 6 o'clock.
I was hoping that we could get the direction on the 27th, bring that and the plan. And then everyone can see the plan and say if they like it or not, and we can move forward with it.
I think that, I mean, I like that idea because then it's just moving along and getting, I mean, the temporary plan, I think is gonna be.
So,
We'll just have it as a discussion item on the 27th, and then I'll bring the scope to the council on this.
so August 27th, you're saying?
And the parents want two opportunities.
Yeah, that sounds
Okay,
good.
and they can look at the scope and what we're planning on the
Okay.
September meeting.
Okay.
That sounds good.
And I don't honestly know how many parents will actually show up, but there,
It's-
there are a lot that.
For discussion item.
Especially parents that are now entering the back.
Well, they want this done, let's say.
They're just there.
Yeah.
Put the notice out.
Wait, too.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
So, any more future agenda items? Anybody? Any more future agenda items? No? Okay, so the meeting is adjourned at 2:51 PM and thank you all for coming.
Nice work.
Thank you.